Welcome back to Real Phonies, where we take a love for movies and television and combine it with very little knowledge about movies and television. I'm your host, Christian. Join with me are my co-hosts, Joseph.
Hello.
And Jay Hugh.
Cacao! Man, I loved your enthusiasm on that intro. I really feel like it set the tone for the rest of the thing. I don't know where I was when I started, but I'm jazzed now.
I do my part. I don't know why, like, mid-sentence, it cracked me up that we're still doing this. Like, it just was just funny to me that that's still our intro and this is the thing we've been doing.
We still don't know very much.
Yep, that's very true. But we're talking about Harry Potter again. Week 2, parts 5 through 7, part 2.
If you want to
David
catch up,
Yates collection
correct.
Is what I would call it.
I would. If you want to catch up on the first 4 that came out the previous week, Harry Potter and, what did I call it? Harry Potter, the first 4 movies, maybe, but we do
something like that.
1 through 4 the previous weeks. So check out that episode if you want to start from the beginning.
So we're recording this on Tuesday, August 25th, which in the books is the day Victor Crumb catches the snitch and ends the Quidditch World Cup, the 1994 Quidditch World Cup. Just in case anyone's curious.
It's good to know.
It would be better if we were doing Goblet of Fire this week, but we
we're
did it last
not.
week.
We did.
So do we want to say like general opinions about these as a whole, or do we want to go straight into film by film? Because these have a similar aesthetic because they're made by the same people across all 4 films.
Definitely, this is a more even keel.
Yeah, did David Yates make all 4 of these?
He did, yep.
Holy shit. Okay, I didn't know that. But,
I don't know what else he's directed, but he's made 6 movies in the Harry Potter universe.
I will say, I feel like each one gets progressively darker. I mean, I have a pretty bright TV, and by the last 2, I'm like, what the fuck is going on in this scene?
Yeah, they are pretty dark films. And the number 6 has like a weird old-timey filter on it the whole time.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about the fact that the Goblet of Fire was filmed in the Matrix. Fuck.
What?
I feel like the whole Goblet of Fire movie is tinted in green.
You know what? There is a green tone to it. That's true.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess we'll start with Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the angsty Harry Potter.
I was about to say, so I want to venture a guess. So follow on from our last podcast. You and I, Christian, agreed that the Goblet of Fire is the worst of the 8, but Hurt disagreed. This is my posited guess on what he thinks is the worst one.
Can I make a guess? I'm going to make a guess before you answer, Jehu.
Okay.
I think number 6 is your least favorite.
Don't tell us which one it is. Just tell us whether it's this one.
Okay. This one is not only not my least favorite, it's my favorite one.
Fuck! I'm way off. I don't know you at all. We are not friends.
I'm not a huge fan of this one because I can't stand Harry in this book. Or in this film, but I do like 2 things about it. I actually think this movie is better than the book. I think they trim the fat real well. It's a real freaking long book. I think they get the nitty gritty, what they need to hit. They do it well. The second thing is, and Jay, you kind of hinted at this last time, is I think there was a critique in the Harry Potter books that'd be like, if Dumbledore would just tell Harry what's going on, everything would be fine. And so that's the whole plot of this movie is right. Dumbledore doesn't tell Harry and nothing is fine. And he finally learns that lesson.
Right. That's true. That's very true.
Like it's very self-aware of the critiques that has been made about it.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I also remember this is the last book that I read because spoiler alert, this is the one where Sirius dies.
Right.
I felt the same way when I read the book. I felt like it was such a dramatic tonal shift for Harry in this book, like, personality-wise. And then he just really annoyed me the first time I watched the movie when I was younger because he's just, like, so ridiculously, pubescently angry. And I get that, like, this whole book is, like, the thin metaphor for Harry's Voldemort connection and whatever is that, pubescent shift. That's very much what J.K. Rowling's going for. That said, rewatching it, I feel like he was a lot more like I feel like he was justified in being more angry earlier. This is just I think he's well overdue at this point for the amount of shit that people like try to cut him out of, despite the fact that Voldemort has personally tried to attack him every fucking year he goes to Hogwarts.
Yeah, he's kind of insufferable in this, but I mean, realistically, he has a pretty good reason to be such a dick.
I think so too.
If I had one like big critique on this movie from like book to film adaptation is it doesn't set up the Neville stuff like at all. And I feel like that's a really important part of the book, and it makes Neville a really great and interesting character, and also sets him up for what he will do later on in the story. And the film's just decided that wasn't important and doesn't address it at all.
Right. You totally get the payoff without getting the setup. So you only know it's cool if you've read the books.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, I wish I had Val on here just to verify, but, I was watching all 8 films. She wasn't watching them with me, but she lives in the same house, so incidentally, she was watching some of them. But I think she could attest that at least every movie that Neville was in, I turned to her and be like, Neville's the chosen one, right?
I don't know if you guys have ever been to the Tokyo and 9 Mile, but there's a dude that's worked there for like 20 years that looks just like Neville Longbottom. Shout
really?
out to that guy. 100%. Yeah. I don't have many other thoughts on this one other than, it's sad to see Gary Oldman go.
For sure.
Man, was he dressed so great.
Oh, he's so fine in it.
He looks so fucking cool in this. That's one of the reasons why why this one's one of my favorites. Gary Oldman's outfit. He just looks so fucking cool in this.
That's legit.
Yeah.
It's better than Transformers.
Yeah, I want to do a quick throwback to Prisoner of Azkaban because I forgot to mention it. They do a dramatic makeup shift mid-scene from when there's the confrontation in the Shrieking Shack. I don't know if you guys noticed that.
Yeah, totally.
They make, he's supposed to be the bad guy. You think he's the bad guy in that whole book movie. And so in that scene, like, he looks like he's fucking a dead man walking.
Right.
And then, like, the moment the Peter Pettigrew turn happened, he just looks like, happy little Uncle Sirius.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, fuck. Did he, like, wash all that shit off? I don't know.
I try to follow along every time Sirius is on if all his tattoos add up. Because in Prisoner of Azkaban, he has a shit ton of tattoos. Yeah. And I feel like he gets less the farther we go on in the story.
Well, maybe wizard tattoos move.
Hey.
That could be. That's a good retcon.
But yeah, the reason this one is my favorite is because from almost the beginning of this, I think most people's like, man, I want Voldemort and Dumbledore to have a fight with their wands, and I want it to be fucking cool.
Yep.
And in this movie, they have a fight with their wands, and it's fucking cool.
It's really fucking cool.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's usually my selling point for this one. I will say this one, as much as I don't know if it contributes to your enjoyment of the film, but it's the best villain in the Harry Potter series, and the actress who plays Dolores Umbridge is just despicable.
She is the worst. Even Voldemort, there's some like sympathy for the Malfoys. There's some sympathy for her. It just feels so good to hate her.
No, it absolutely does. And that actress does such a good job that if I ever met her, I would have a hard time not wanting to hit her, even though I understand that she is not that person.
100%.
Every time, everything I see her in that's not this, she's always like a sweetheart. Like, she's super nice in every other thing, but Dolores just infects every other part she's in, and I automatically hate her.
For sure.
Yeah, she might be a top 10 villain for me. She's very good / awful.
Yeah, well, it's just Dolores is such a well-crafted villain in that she's so easily hateable. She has no motivation to be as evil as she is, other than she enjoys it.
Right.
And
yeah, I think she's just a sadist. That's it.
Yeah, that's all. And it's just this unanimous hate. There is no feeling sorry for her whatsoever. And they capture it really well in the film. It's weird to say something that everyone mutually hates, but it's enjoyable to watch, and it's enjoyable to just hate where, like a community hate of Dolores that we all share.
Right.
I also think, this movie introduces elements that will, as we get further down the line, the end game pieces get more frequent and obvious, I think. But, we introduced the room of requirement. I think for the first time in this movie.
Harry makes out for the first time in this one. Him and Cho Chang.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
He discovers tongues.
And this is also kind of where we establish, like, Harry as a leader of his peers, as like kind of accepting the mantle of the chosen one that's been thrust upon him.
And I mean that whole forming of the team part is really good too. You know, you not only have the grown up Order of the Phoenix, but the like teens deciding, hey, we can't just wait for shit to happen to us. We've got to do something. Is, you know, one of the cooler parts in all of the books and the movies too.
Yeah, I think Order of the Phoenix in a lot of ways is kind of a closure of the things that came before, and then a setup for the second half of the story. So like whatever, and even to the Dumbledore not telling Harry crap. Like, it's just, hey, there was this thing where Voldemort kept trying to come back to life, and he's trying to kill you, and okay, now he's back. That's all over. Here is what's going to happen in the future. There's the Order of the Phoenix. There's New Order of the Phoenix. You're hunting ways to kill him. Like, it's just, here's the prophecy. You're the chosen one. Like, it's just a kind of like a end of Act 1, beginning of Act 2 moment.
This is also the one where new Dumbledore really proves his worth. Like,
right, yeah,
he's
for
okay
sure.
in the other two, but in this one, he's really, really good, particularly in that battle scene.
And the Phoenix escape scene, which is dope.
Yeah, and the Phoenix escape scene, which is great, yeah.
Yeah, Kingsley's got a great line there. He's like, I know you hate him, Minister, but he's got stuff.
Yeah, you know, I will say, I think the most fucked up part of this movie is that Hagrid's got his brother chained up in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also just feel like for the amount of like dangerous plot fucking devices that are in the Forbidden Forest, I'm not like for deforestation as a whole, but that area might be a better parking lot than what it is now.
100%, yeah.
So on to Half-Blood Prince.
Half-Blood Prince, my favorite one.
Jehu, was I right? Is this?
This one is my least favorite one.
I knew it. It
drives me nuts.
So, explain that to me.
Okay, part of it is the book that this is based on is my favorite of the books. And I don't think they do a good job of nailing it at all. This is, you know, the Snape book. And you know, as I mentioned in the last episode, I am contractually obliged to root for Snape. You know, it's Sarah's favorite fictional character. And, man, Snape is barely even in this movie. And a lot of the cool backstory stuff, they don't even touch on in this. It kind of shows up later in part 2 of 7, but this movie could have used it. And probably my biggest complaint in this movie is just a lot of close-ups of teenagers looking sad. Like it could have a Sarah McLachlan soundtrack run the whole fucking time. I think that whoever directed the first Twilight movie saw this and thought, that's how you make a fucking movie.
They might have.
So I actually really like this movie. It is. I don't know. After this rewatch, normally before the rewatch, I would say it's my favorite. But after this rewatch, I had a different. I enjoyed more. But what I do like, and this is my favorite book, and the reason why I feel like I can say this movie is good and the book it's my favorite book is I really separate them. Because you're right, Jehu. It leaves so much out, and so much of it that is very important. And it does try to make up some ground in Deathly Hallows. But I think when they made the decision to not go into Padfoot and Prongs and Harry's parents, then the story they set up, if they had done it now, it wouldn't be the payoff that it is in the book. It wouldn't. And so based on what they had done in previous films, I think this movie tells the same story in a different fashion. And while I may enjoy it more as the book, I think what they do works as a film. I really, really like this movie, mostly because I really like the performances of Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I think all three of them are really strong in this film.
The irony is apparently Daniel Radcliffe hates this performance the most. Because this was like when he was like really in the throes of having like alcohol abuse problems. But I also agree. I also think this is one of his best performances.
I mean, his kissing Ginny is really awkward. Like the way they
they're terrible kissers.
Very uncomfortable. Yeah. There's no chemistry between the two of them.
No.
Also, in this one, Harry decides, I'm just going to have shitty hair for the rest of the run. I'm going to have a dumb haircut for the rest of the run. And he does that.
I think the things that I like about this one so much is, first off, this is when we get deep into like Dumbledore, the chess player, you know? where he's manipulating everybody all the time, recruiting Slughorn at the beginning. It's beautiful because one, you're manipulating. Obviously, you're trying to bring Slughorn back by showing off your prize goods, but he's also manipulating Harry, but kind of like bringing him into the fold and making him feel included.
Yeah.
And I just think that, and then coupled into the much later in the movie, recruiting him to go and track down the Horcrux and all that kind of stuff. It's just, this is the most Dumbledore movie. I mean, it's this last one. But this is where I feel like we really see that character closest to what he is.
Is Dumbledore a bad guy?
I mean, kind of. He's not like a good guy.
He's definitely not a great guy. I
guess that's better. He's not a great guy.
I think he's a pragmatic guy who wants to be a good guy.
I think he's a greater good guy.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like Dumbledore, that like first time Cassian Andor shows up in Rogue One, is the entire plot of Dumbledore across all of these things.
Right.
Like he's like, I'm gonna get the job done, and he's just gonna do it in a sweeter package.
Right.
So I'm not ready to say Dumbledore is I think he wants good. I don't know that he is good.
Right.
Right.
And I think that, like you're saying, Joseph, this is the movie that really shows that off.
Right. And like you said, I think this is one of the most fun ones for all the once all the kiddos are now like functionally, practically adults or almost adults. They get better at acting as a whole. I think I like Harry like leaning into the chosen one thing and like kind of getting cozy in it. There's a bit where Dumbledore's like, I'll bet you're wondering why I brought you here, Harry. And he's like, I just don't worry about it anymore. and later on, Hermione's like, that girl only wants to snog you because she thinks you're the chosen one. And he goes, but I am the chosen one.
I do think this movie kind of does hint, at least the first half of it, does remind us that Hogwarts is fun again. Like,
right, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, and the whole what is the Felix, whatever it is, the
Felix Felicis.
Yeah, that one. That whole sequence is super fun.
Yeah, the way he interacts with Slughorn in that scene is so great.
And
then come on, Professor.
But yeah, I mean, look, for a book that's ostensibly about Snape, I think they lean really hard into the red herring aspect, trying to convince you that the Half-Blood Prince is Tom Riddle. But I still think there's some great Snape moments in it. Like I tell you guys all the time, but if you haven't seen this movie, I will watch this whole movie for the scene where Harry's confronting McGonagall and Snape, trying to convince them that Draco was the one that cursed whoever that girl was. And Snape goes, "What evidence do you have to provide, Potter?" And Harry Potter says, "I just know." And I can't do it. I cannot do it. It's literally impossible. But
It was Malfoy. That is a very serious accusation, Potter.
Indeed. Your evidence?
I just know.
You just know.
He says, so slow.
You just know in with a space between just and know that like literally universes
like 3 seconds.
Fit between. It's amazing. Yeah. It's beautiful, it's so beautiful work.
Right. I do think he was thinking this will be the one they remember me for. This pause right here.
And it is. Yeah. I think about it often.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, like the sequence at the very end, with the running into Harry under the platform there, and actually killing. I don't know. There's just like a lot of great moments where once you know the context of the character, I think Alan Rickman does a great job in those scenes conveying a lot with not a lot of actual dialogue.
Yeah, I just don't know that they necessarily earn the payoff. Kind of what Jay was talking about. Like they just don't give enough into the details to earn that ending and why it's so shocking and crazy. And
yeah. I mean, it literally, he says, "I'm the Half-Blood Prince," and you're like, you're not even in this movie. Like you've basically cameoed up onto this part.
Yeah. Still better than Transformers.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's better. All these movies are better than Transformers.
Also, we're ignoring the bit where Dumbledore does the giant firewall in the hunting, the whole hunt for the Horcrux in that off the Cape in the boat, and all of that is fucking great.
Yeah, that
Dope
is
as
good.
shit.
Yeah.
This is my favorite one. I won't apologize for it. I think this is objectively for me the most fun.
The only problem I have with that scene is, and again, it's not something that's really ever dawned on me until this rewatch, and I don't know why, is, you find out the story of the Horcruxes, and you really get into Tom Riddle's, like, the deaths and things that each Horcrux was and the history behind each one. And I thought to myself, a group of children could not climb down those rocks and get into that.
Right.
That can't happen.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, whatever. Who cares? It
But
looks
it looked cool, exactly.
Yeah.
So Deathly Hallows Part 1.
So I want to say something here because I want to, before we go into each one specifically, I did realize Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, for me, are a good exercise in the difference between objective truth and subjective truth.
Okay.
Objectively, Deathly Hallows Part 1 is a better film. Subjectively, Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the most fun I ever have watching a movie.
Yeah.
I super dig that.
I also think Deathly Hallows Part 2 is the blueprint for Avengers Endgame. It was where you can show, oh yeah, you can do like an hour and a half battle scene, and that's just a movie.
And it works.
And it works
both times.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it works both times.
So, Part 1, they fuck in a tent.
The only
Oh, Hurt, you muted yourself, and I know you want to talk about tent fucking.
Oh yeah, I was just saying I think the whole reason we even decided to do this is because we wanted to drive home the point that Harry and Hermione definitely have lots of sex in the tent.
Agreed.
Super agreed. Good.
And mind you, I think that's good for Hermione and Ron's relationship. She got it out of her system. She realized, Harry's probably better at fucking, but at the end of the day, this guy's probably going to be a mess his whole life. He's had the weirdest, most fucked up life his whole fucking life. Everyone he's related to is dead. This will be good for a while, but Harry's never going to have a 401k. Ron, granted he comes from a poor family, but that's because they have like 14 fucking children. If, they can keep that under wraps, Ron can probably earn a pretty good living.
Ron's the stay-at-home dad in this relationship.
Maybe.
It's also set up for the second one, fucking in the Chamber of Secrets.
Right.
I can't even remember how this one starts.
It's with it starts with saving Harry and Mad Eye dies and Voldemort
Right,
attacks.
that's right. I love that opening.
It starts with Hedwig dying. Those motherfuckers.
I know Dobby is the bit that gets most people, but Hedwig dying is the one that affects me the most.
The line that Hedwig gave him away. Yeah. You don't see it. The Hedwig gave it away breaks my heart every time.
Yeah.
Oh, in the first scene, we're going to kill your beloved pet. That is mean-spirited.
We're setting the stakes, man.
We're starting with the end of Old Yeller.
Well, it's just, it's kind of a beautiful moment in that, like, Hagrid is the one that gave Harry Hedwig, and it is this moment that Harry has with Hagrid in the same motorcycle he delivered him to the Dursleys with, that Hedwig's journey kind of comes to an end, and, like, it's really... it's a sad ending, but it really the whole story was building to that moment for Hedwig, and it's sad. It's just heartbreaking to see.
It is.
Yeah. And I think it also sets the tone that like these next two movies are going to be a bloodbath. Get out your Kleenexes.
Right. Yeah. For sure. We also meet Bill Nighy, who's been apparently wanted to be in these movies for a long time before he actually got to be in them.
Really?
So at least he got a little cameo.
It is very brief.
It is very brief.
These are dark times.
God, I want him to read me a story every night.
He could have been a good Dumbledore.
No, he could have been. I thought that too.
I think he wanted to be Dumbledore. Yeah. I think he wanted to be that. I think he wanted to be the previous Minister of Magic. I can't remember. There were a couple of things that he was like vying for. But yeah, which Weasley is it that gets married?
Bill.
Bill. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's the wedding.
We never meet Charlie in these movies.
No.
And where does Percy go after like the second movie? Do we ever see Percy again?
He's in the background.
In the books, you know what happens to Percy. He goes and works for the Minister of Magic and, becomes like a Dolores type character. You hate his guts. But they never touch it in the movies. They never go into the Percy crap. And then he just shows up kind of back in this film.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah, then
And they go on the run.
Our three leads, go on the run. Fuck Hogwarts. Fuck school. This ain't no normal world anymore. And yeah, they're out hunting Horcruxes, even though they have absolutely no idea how to do that.
Right.
So that just cracks me up, because especially in like the wizarding world, there doesn't seem to be a lot of leisure time activities. Like these people
Right.
aren't watching Netflix. They don't have their Game Boy out.
Right.
And it just seems like they're just wandering around a lot and then just like sitting and thinking a lot. So I imagine there was a lot of time for tent fucking.
Right.
Well, isn't it also supposed to be like 1997? So
Yeah.
like it was before we had all that shit anyway.
Hey, Game Boy Color was still around.
There you go. Everyone's playing Pokemon Blue.
That's what I'm saying.
You could waste a lot of time in the woods in a tent with Pokemon.
You could.
Very true. It's. I know this one is like a really well-made film, and I like it a whole lot. I think it's pretty good, but it's just like when you know what's coming in Deathly Hallows Part 2, like all I'm like, I just got to get through. Got to get to Part 2.
Yeah.
Got to get.
Right.
All right, we got Xenophilius Lovegood. Okay, let's go. Keep going. Let's get through this. But I think they give really good acting performances. I think Ron is really good in this movie. I think he's probably the best of the three. I think probably Harry. Like this may have been where we started to notice Emma Watson wasn't as good as we thought she was.
For sure. You got to look past the pretty veneer and see the lack of acting talent. Yeah, I mean, in general, I completely agree with what you're saying in the sense that, like, I like that these movies had time to slow down, because a lot of these, book to movie adaptations, not just Harry Potter, just in general, is you just have so many plot points to hit, you don't have time to do anything else besides hit the important plot points. And so, like, I love the Harry and Hermione dancing at the tent and, like, visiting the graveyard and all these things where you just, like, you have a couple of moments between the scenes that are, like, getting you to the next thing where you get to, like, sit with these characters for a bit. But it is hard when you know what's coming that you just want to hurry up and get to it.
You talk about going to the grave, like the pit in Godric's Hollow. That kind of reminds me that this movie doesn't do is all the Dumbledore stuff that you get in the book, which now thinking about is such a big mistake, because you want me to care about Fantastic Beasts. Give me that information. Like, I care about seeing Grindelwald because of who I know Grindelwald to be because of Deathly Hallows. The movies don't, they kind of do that. You get the whole, like, you sure you even know him, boy line, but I don't know. I feel like they're really missing out on, I mean, maybe just because it's all exposition, but
Right.
the Dumbledore backstory and why it's important, and I don't know.
I
Missed
100%
opportunity.
agree on that. 100% agree. Yeah, they if they would have talked more about that, they must have really thought when they were done with this, it's like, man, we're done making this movies, because yeah, they could have put a little more set up for the next thing with this.
The animated part for
Holy
the Deathly Hallows is
Fuck,
so
it's
great.
so beautiful. It's so fucking gorgeous. I don't know what won animated short that year, but this should have won because
Right.
it's like they didn't need to make it look that pretty for, just an interlude story in the middle of this fucking live action series, but they fucking did, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's real good. That's all I have.
I think that's about all I got for this. Definitely this one, was a good adaptation of the first half of this book, which was the most Lord of the Ringsy of all of them. There's a whole lot of walking and traveling and being tired and wanting to give up and that sort of thing. So yeah, it was, I mean, again, it's not very fun, but it does a good job of setting up for the next thing.
Do we think this movie pays off the Regulus Black twist?
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
It kind of is just like a forgotten detail at
Yeah.
one point in this movie. But yeah, that Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Still better than Transformers. It's still a really good movie.
Yeah, no, again, I think this might be the most well-made of all of them. I think it's really tight all the way across. It's just not the most enjoyable to watch. That
Right.
would be the second one, which is all awesome, the whole thing.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, basically I could do all my comments on this with just, it's really cool when blank does blank, and it's really sad when blank dies. That's basically
Yeah.
everything I have to say about this.
You get a cool blind dragon.
Yeah.
You get breaking into Gringotts. I think the Harry reveal back at Hogwarts is so fucking great.
Oh, it's so great.
Yeah, it is really good.
I mean, both with him coming through the tunnel and like being in the room of requirement and everyone just being really excited to see him, I think that's a great moment. But the moment in the hall with Snape, man, and McGonagall kicking some ass, like it's all great. Every moment's great. And then, of course, there to the end, it's just like nonstop wizard fights, which is all I want to see.
Right. Hey.
I will say, I feel like the room of requirement is just a writer's best friend.
Right.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I don't know how to connect to these things. Room of requirement. It's just what we needed.
How is the room of requirement like as far back as it was in Harry Potter, but it took them so long to do the fucking Danger Room in any X-Men movie?
Yeah.
Because they're the same
That's
thing.
true.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing this one confirms, I thought I had pretty early on in these books and movies, is that Slytherin just exists for profiling purposes.
For sure, right?
Like, I feel like I would have enjoyed it if they would have made one friend from Slytherin. I guess Slughorn was kind of that, but he was still kind of a slimy dude. You know, it definitely seems like, oh, this house just exists. So if you're in this house, you know that this person's a bad guy.
Yeah, I think Dumbledore should have been a Slytherin.
I mean, I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I went on this rant when I watched it. And I forgot to go on this rant when we did our episode on it. But Dumbledore's bullshit with the points at the end of one are one of the reasons I imagine Slytherin's so fucking evil.
Right.
It's like, well, if everyone's just going to screw us over because they think we're evil anyway, we might as well fucking be more evil.
That is the end of that first movie is so fucked up. It is just so bitchy. Like,
yeah, it absolutely is.
Why is there such a wide-ranging effect of Expelliarmus in these movies?
That's a good
Sometimes the wand just goes flying. Other times it knocks a dude out. Like, it's such a weird spell.
Sometimes it's like a boomerang spell, and the wand comes back to the person.
Right.
Yeah. What else is great in this movie? All of it. Of course, the Snape scene is the best. It's just the best moment. I mean, it's
right.
just,
Yeah, no,
it's
totally.
It's so
good.
heartrending.
Yeah. He's like crying, and he's like, "Take him."
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm bawling my eyes out like for the 100th time I've watched this. It hits every time. Alan Rickman, God, rest in peace. He's so great.
Yeah.
I'm curious, in the books, is there more on Aberforth besides what we get in the movie?
There's just more in general about Dumbledore and Dumbledore's past.
Okay.
And,
Yeah.
while you may not get more, I mean, you do get a bit more of Aberforth in the present, but it sets up more of him as a character and why he's bitter against Dumbledore, other than, did he ever talk about her? Did he ever talk about me? Like, there's so much more than that.
Right.
That it just doesn't pay off.
Yeah, I felt that same
hey,
way.
They got what's his face in it? You know,
Ciaran Hinds.
Ciaran Hinds. Hey,
Yeah.
that guy's in there.
Yeah.
Throw him in.
I felt that way just because I was like, I felt like you were setting up for something, and then there's just, I guess you kind of elucidate some of it with the Snape flashback, but you don't really get a lot of details on that. And the bit at the wedding are the only two times where they kind of hint is, oh, maybe there's more to Dumbledore under the surface that you don't know about, Harry, and then they don't really delve any deeper.
Yeah. That is still all a better twist than there's a secret Dumbledore we never knew about. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Oh,
Man,
God.
is that movie even being made since
I
like
don't-
half of the cast has been canceled?
I think they were in filming before COVID started, and I think they're about to start back up now that,
Okay.
in most countries, COVID is on the decline.
What else is worth talking about in this movie? It's got to be hard to be a Voldemort supporter. I get he's fucking scary, like in person, but like that dude spends a lot of time trying to murder a kid who's not very good at magic and failing. Like it's got to be hard to I remember rewatching these movies thinking, I don't understand how Draco has any friends because all he does is lose. The closest thing he has to a victory is in Half-Blood Prince, where he catches Harry spying on him and beats him up in the train, but nobody's there to see it. Otherwise, everyone just watches him lose all the goddamn time. Right. And then I realized it's the same fucking thing with Voldemort.
I actually do really like that scene for Draco because it is such an evolution of his character that his priorities have changed. Because second year Draco would be bragging the fuck out about that. I just beat the shit out of Harry Potter on that train.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing I don't like that this movie does do, actually both of these films, is then it started the trend of the final movie in the series needs to be in 2 parts.
Right.
It works for this. It does not need to happen for Twilight or Hunger Games.
No, that's absolutely true.
It was a bold decision at the time, and yeah, it set a bad precedent.
I think particularly for Hunger Games, it killed that shit. Because the first one's not great, but the second one's a pretty good movie. And then any goodwill they built off that one is just killed by splitting the third part into 2 parts.
Yeah. And I actually think this is the motivation Peter Jackson had for making 3 Hobbit films when he could have made 1.
Potentially, yeah.
Has any fan ever made a fan edit of the Hobbit films that's just the Hobbit? Because I want somebody to do that. Someone more talented than me. Just cut out all the bullshit and just make it the Hobbit.
I mean, supposedly didn't what's his face do that?
It sounds like something Topher Grace.
Yeah, I was gonna say Eric Foreman. Topher Grace, I think, did that on the set of Black Klansman. Cut the 3 movies into like a 2-hour movie.
Oh well, man, he should find a way to make that available.
For sure, I agree. Like PVP,
he did it
that,
for,
man.
He did it for the prequels too, and apparently it's like great. But like 7 people have seen it. It's off topic. Joseph, you had a couple more things you wanted to talk about.
I don't have a lot to talk about. I really enjoy the after Harry dies bit, the super awkward Voldemort's like victory speech and the Draco hug, which apparently was improvised. It's a beautiful moment. It's a beautiful moment of like, you see that Voldemort has won, and then you like, it's the moment to me anyway where you like consider what would the world look like if Voldemort like ruled over the wizarding world, and that's what it would look like.
Yeah. I do like after Harry dies committing to calling him Tom.
Yeah.
Because there is a realization Harry has at this moment. In the beginning, it's I'm going to call him Voldemort. Everyone else is scared to say his name. But at that point, it's the realization I'm not going to give him what he wants. He wants to be called Voldemort. I'm going to call him by his real name, Tom. And I think that's like a big dick energy move by Harry, and I appreciate it.
That is totally, yeah,
for sure.
Which death bums you guys out the most? There's so many to choose from.
Ooh.
I mean, it's got to be the Weasley. I don't remember which Weasley it is.
Yeah, I think most people say that, but I really think for me it's Lupus and Tonks.
Oh yeah, no, they're the objectively saddest one.
Yeah, because it's just like you don't even, they're just dead,
Yeah, I mean we've essentially just started the Harry Potter story over again.
Right.
What's the name of Ron's girlfriend in Half-Blood Prince?
Oh, did she get killed in this?
They don't even address it.
Okay.
Her dead body is just lying on the ground. That's what makes it.
My wife has better eyes than I do because she saw that shit and she's like, is that Ron's girlfriend's like, probably not. They probably would pay more attention to that. But I guess it was.
Lavender Brown. It's Lavender Brown. That's her name. Yeah, and she's just dead on the ground, and no one gives a shit. And I feel sorry for her and her family.
Yep.
Did she die in the books, or was that just a case of the actress saying, hey, it would be cool if I died in this scene?
I think Lavender does die in the book. Yeah. Definitely Remus and Tonks is the most sad because they leave they have their son. But
yeah.
Who not only has to live the world without his parents, he also has to grow up a werewolf. So, like, he's really got the shit into the stick.
Yeah, I guess it's because we don't have to watch a bunch of people. Not only do we like the Weasley twins, but we don't have to watch a bunch of people who love them mourn about it. With Lupin and Tonks.
Yeah.
Also, on the note of watching with my wife, the moment that Neville chops Nagini in half, I turned to my left to look at her, and she's like, "I know Neville's the chosen one," and it was great. It was the best moment of my life.
Well, I think I really like Neville in this because he's not the chosen one. When Harry's dead, he's the guy that's like, well, who gives a fuck? We still got to win this shit,
right?
He's
the chosen one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All these movies are worth a watch. Everyone should watch them.
Yeah, they're all better.
I wanted to watch them again after finishing.
And yeah, I mean, for a story that's to make any of them as successful as they were with a series that was already so popular and beloved, it's tough to adapt things that people have already established images and their own opinions about how it looks in their minds. So to do that consistently for so many, and then to stick the landing, which I think they really do. It's really fucking impressive. I think these whole 8 movies are a feat of cinema that we probably won't see accomplished that many more times in our lifetime.
Yeah. The only thing comparable was the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and then that got ruined by the Hobbit trilogy.
Yeah.
So But Harry Potter is kind of being tainted by the Fantastic Beasts series, so it's not like it's been a perfect run since.
Just ignore those. It's fine.
It's hard. It's hard.
I still think they can pull it out. I'm reverse of you guys. I like the second one better than the first. I know neither of them are great, but I still think they might pull it out.
You like the second one better than the first?
I do.
Holy fuck. Have we
I
not
do
talked
think,
about this
too-
on the podcast?
We've done a review on it.
We've talked
shit.
about it on the main thing I hate about the first one is the twist in this movie is a celebrity, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? When he turns into Grindelwald, we don't know what Grindelwald looks like. We're just like, oh shit, there's Johnny Depp.
See, my biggest problem in that one is once he turns into Johnny Depp, I'm like, this is the guy that Dumbledore wants to fuck? You know?
I would have been
If it was Colin Farrell, I'd get it.
I wish they would have just stuck with Colin Farrell. At this point, I bet they do too.
Yeah, for sure. I'm positive that they do.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch these movies. Anytime you think about watching the Fantastic Beasts, don't just rewatch these whole 8 movies.
And they're on TV right now, so
Yeah.
it's easy.
But yeah, I think that's Harry Potter. Unless we got anything else?
Nope.
Harry Potter and the whole damn thing.
We'll come back in 20 years when they make that stage play into a movie.
For sure.
I will say I think they should make an animated series out of these books. I think that would be really fun.
I think particularly if it was like hand-drawn animation.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
particularly if it's a fucking anime.
Anime would be dope.
I want a Japanese anime of Harry Potter.
You know how insufferable Order of the Phoenix would be as an anime?
And be
It would
real
be
shouting.
Awful. Awful.
Well, also the exposition recaps that are in anime where people scream things that have already happened, they could really turn that up 11 to 11 in the Harry Potter universe.
We'd hear "You Killed My Parents" so much.
Right.
I'm super down with this. Just one season per book. I'm game.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
All
Let's
right.
move on.
So yeah, that's Harry Potter. Thanks to friend of the podcast and loyal listener, Rick, who texted me this week, said he was rewatching the series because we were doing it. I appreciate you, buddy. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as we did. But that's it. What have we been watching this past week, guys?
I did not watch much. I am real close to being done with Legend of Korra. I have like 4 episodes left. I like it. I like that show I like that show a whole lot. In some ways, I like it more than
Don't you
Avatar.
fucking say that.
I do.
You are
Listen to me.
fucking
I said
crazy.
I said in some ways. Calm down.
That's
I like the characters more. I just think they aged up and they're more adult problems I connect with more.
yeah. You like
But
Mako? Is Mako a really fucking compelling character to you?
Mako is fine.
Get the fuck out of here.
I do. The story in Avatar is better. I do miss the fact that there's not this like one overarching villain, and it's all a build up to that. I don't like villain of the season stories, and they're all interesting. They're just not as good as like the impending threat of the Fire Lord and Sozin's Comet timetable that Aang has to deal with. I think that really drives the plot. I just think Korra is a tighter show, and that the episodes. The seasons are shorter, and you get to things quicker, and I appreciate that. Episode 2 to Hard Knocks, kind of boring. If there were only 2 episodes left, I don't know that I would keep watching.
I mean, that is kind of the beauty of Hard Knocks, is there's not very many episodes.
Yeah. And then episode 2 of Lovecraft Country, I don't want to talk on too much. I don't know if you guys have started watching this yet, but I did want to say one thing about it. After talking to you, Hurt, last week, I did kind of have a realization, and maybe I misunderstood. I'm going to say misunderstanding the show, but I think there is a point that we kind of hinted on, and I think the show is intentional, which it kind of asks the question of, can you separate a content from its creator?
Right.
Because there is a line in there about, this guy's black dude in I'm assuming the 20s. No, he was in Korea. So it's the mid 50s. And he, basically said he wasn't allowed to read Lovecraft growing up. Anytime his dad saw it, he made it put it down. But he loves science fiction and he loves horror. And so I do kind of wonder if that is the point of the show. Apparently it's a book I would be curious to read. Can you enjoy things? Can you separate? Or is it all just tied into one thing? And I don't know that there is an answer. I'll be curious to see how the show handles that. But I have no fucking clue what this show is about. This episode ended in a way I did not anticipate at all, and I have no clue how they're going to go forward with it. It's strange. But all three leads are really good, and they're all super attractive people. Everyone in this show is incredibly handsome. It is really like aesthetically pleasing to look at. Like the cars are cool, the buildings are cool. The racism is very painful to watch. It's very realistic.
Oh, I really thought you were going to say the racism is cool, and I was really
I set it up that way. I did it on purpose. But yeah, no. I recommend it. I don't know it. I don't even know if I like it yet. I'm only 2 episodes in, but I'm curious to keep going. That's all I watched.
Cool.
I thought you were going to talk about the Batman trailer.
I decided to take it seriously. If you want to talk about the Batman trailer, I'd glad to talk it with you.
Well, I didn't watch. I didn't watch much of anything this week, but I did watch all the DC Fandom stuff, and I was really excited for all this shit to suck, so I could say more like DC fan don't. But it was actually all pretty fun. I would go more with DC fan dope. I really liked the shit from Suicide Squad. That movie looks great. I may sexually identify as the Suicide Squad poster. John Cena in the Peacemaker outfit is maybe my favorite thing in recorded history.
It's really great.
So dumb and awesome.
I just want to say two questions. Number one, do we like the Harley Quinn look for Suicide Squad? And then number two, Jehu, what did you think of the format? Did you watch it as it was actually airing?
No, I didn't. I've watched recap videos on the internet. Yeah. No, I like the outfit a lot. I like that, it incorporates the old school pants with the, card symbols on them and stuff like that. I like it better than the outfit in the first one, definitely.
Also, definitely seems to be course correcting for the booty shorts.
Right.
There was a presence of Batman the Animated Series in both the Suicide Squad for Harley Quinn and with the Batman trailer I found. And that spoke to me dearly. I did watch some of DC Fandom on Saturday. And you know what? It worked pretty well. It was kind of like gas station TV, honestly, but for nerds. And it wasn't terrible.
That's great. That's a good way of explaining it.
That is a great way of explaining it. We got a lot of. We got the Batman trailer. We got the Suicide Squad trailer.
Well, what did you guys think of the Batman trailer?
I think it's really impressive when you take into consideration they've only been shooting for 7 weeks. They were able to cut a trailer that cool. Colin Farrell's Penguin, unrecognizable.
Yep, right.
I still am not excited for the super gritty, young Batman. That part's still whatever. But I am excited we're getting a Riddler villain. Court of Owls reference in there. I don't know. I am looking forward to it.
I thought a lot of it looked a little too much like the Nolan movies. And the Nolan movies are great, but why are we doing that again?
Right.
You're not gonna do a better version of that. I mean, the stairwell that he grapples up through, is that the same stairwell that Christian Bale dropped down in Batman Begins? It sure looks like it. The scene where Commissioner Gordon's giving the sort of press conference thing in the rain there, that sure looked like a scene from one of the Nolan movies. That being said, I'm really into Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. That's probably the part of this movie I'm most into. It's going to take me a while to get here, but this will describe my level of excitement about this movie.
It wouldn't be your weekly reviews if we didn't take a winding path through some obscure cultural reference.
Okay, this one really will. So, I talked to one of my friends who's way more into Batman about this, and we were talking about it, and we were kind of making fun of that when he takes off his mask, he looks like the Crow, and then we went down some path of basically that about the Crow soundtrack and how it was weird that the Rollins band covered the song Ghost Rider, which is about the superhero Ghost Rider in the movie The Crow, which has nothing to do with the Ghost Rider. And basically that's how exciting this trailer was for me, that I was more excited about talking about a fucking soundtrack from 25 years ago.
You know, what I have discovered through the internet, I think, is that people really like the brutality aspect of Batman, and that's not what I like about Batman.
Right.
And so I like two things. I like the detective portion, which we really haven't gotten in films, and from everything Matt Reeves says, it does sound like we're really going to get like Detective Batman. But I also like campy Batman. I like a giant penny and a Tyrannosaurus Rex in the Batcave. Like, I like a car that doesn't make sense. I like the Boy Wonder. Like, but that doesn't seem to be the pulse of the audience at large. So I think that's why we're avoiding it. But that's what I would like to see, and this movie looks the exact opposite of those things.
That's why I really wish Affleck would have worked out, is because I feel like where he was an older Batman, you could have just brought a lot of that stuff in without explaining it.
Yeah. Hey, he's coming back, apparently.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the other big thing.
I'm pretty excited about that. You know, we talked about it in text, but I feel like it deserves mentioning on the podcast.
Oh, wow. He thought it deserved mentioning and then muted himself.
What a dramatic mute.
I know it.
Am I still muted?
No, you're good.
No, now you're talking.
Okay. Where was I? I was gonna rag on Hallelujah in Justice League again.
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
I knew there was another trailer. I'd already forgotten it.
I had a lot to do at work, so I didn't have time. But I was gonna make a top 10 list of songs that would have been better in that trailer. Just because just about anything would have been better. You know, the Golden Girls theme would have been better.
It was a really poor choice for, like, we talked about it. There are two big reasons why it's just very self-aware. Both because it's like the return, hallelujah, Zack Snyder's back. And then two, his use of it in Watchmen, which Patrick What's-His-Face commented on. He just said, hey, I recognize that song. And but what I don't like, what's really annoyed me about it was the trailer leaked like really early, and someone commented on it, and Zach went after that, and after that reporter, and
yeah, I saw that.
Like, this is a movie for adults. And then I saw later on someone took a screenshot with Darkseid, and they were like, yeah, this looks like a villain for adults. It cracked me up. Great commentary.
I think the thing that really bums me out the most about it is every time the trailer starts, and I've watched it a few times, that guitar tone at the very beginning is the same guitar tone as Love Hurts, and I think Love Hurts is going to start. And man, would that be way more fun. It wouldn't be appropriate, but it would be so much more fun.
Anything else for this week, Kurt? Yeah, okay.
That's all I got. That was too much for me, honestly.
I'd only watched a couple things this week. I started a new anime called Dororo. So for those keeping track at home, which would be a real stretch if I'm honest with you, I have seen animes called Dorarara, Dororo, and Dorohedoro, and they're all different things.
They all sound like you're having a stroke.
They absolutely do, particularly in a row. It's fine. I was kind of positive on it starting out, but it's gotten a little samey. It's kind of monster of the week. The premise is, it's one of those things where I was impressed with the first episode after I tried to explain it to my wife, because it conveys a lot of information to you that you just accept that is a lot to get across when you're trying to tell somebody about it. So I'm not even going to try, but it's as Jason has mentioned in the past, it's like the opposite of an elevator pitch to explain the premise of this show. But there's a lot of fighting demons and shit. But I'm almost done with it. It's only one season. It's on Amazon. Fuck it. It's fine. It's better than Transformers. It's just not great. The other thing I watched this week is a movie I've been meaning to get to for a while, which is The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, which is made by the same guy who made Killing Them Softly, which I've been a big fan of. I don't know if you guys have seen this movie. It's, about the assassination of Jesse James.
Right.
And it seems like it'd be a Western, and everybody's dressed like it's a Western, but it's not really a Western. It's
I think that's exactly why I didn't watch it. I started watching it, and it's like, this is just people in old clothes.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is that. That said, it's really fucking good. Like the performances, it's Brad Pitt, who's in great form. Sam Rockwell, who is his usual Sam Rockwell quality, which is excellent, just to be clear. And Casey Affleck, who, while I realize is super canceled, is really good in this movie.
Right.
It's just, it's well paced, it's well structured, it's just a super like tense. I mean, it's not like a thriller. I don't really know what to call it. I guess it's a drama, but it's just every moment is so tense. You just feel like everybody could shoot anybody at any moment. And the cinematography is just fucking gorgeous. So if you got 2 hours and 40 minutes,
I was going to ask how you made it through this, because this is infamously long.
I had a long stretch of time on Saturday, and I decided I was going to watch a long movie. And instead of watching one that was probably more culturally relevant, I watched this one.
Right.
Fair enough.
But it's it's way better than Transformers. I would highly recommend it if you will have 2 hours and 40 minutes to watch it. But that's it.
All right, what are we doing next week?
Yep, that's the
New
question.
Mutants.
Are we though?
Oh,
but yeah, next week maybe New Mutants, maybe something. We'll see how it goes.
right.
But thanks to everybody for listening. Please rate and subscribe. Tell your friends about the podcast. And thank you to everybody who's been listening throughout this whole pandemic. There's literally an infinite, comparatively to 1994, when Harry and Hermione just had each other's bodies to entertain themselves in their tents. There's a million things to entertain yourself with now. So if you're listening to this podcast, we appreciate that choice.
Yeah, definitely.
If you want to get in touch with us, tell us any other things about Harry Potter that we missed, or if you really, really want us to do more Fantastic Beasts, which we still probably won't, you can reach us at realphonies@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter at realphonies, and on Instagram at real_phonies. Thanks to Zach Evans for art and Brian Velasquez for our theme. We'll see you guys later.
Later.